Test 3 review solution. In number 1, we are given a right triangle and solve this. So here side A is 8, so this is angle A, so the opposite, this is 8 units long. B is 79, this angle is 79. Now right triangle means this is 90 degrees. Now we need to determine B, C, that's the hypotenuse, and A, this A. We know that the sum of these three angles is 180. This is already 90. That means sum of these two angles is 90. So 79 plus A must be 90. Subtract 79 from both sides, so we get A equals 11. So A is 11 degrees. Okay, now this angle is known. Now we are given one side, we need to determine two other sides. As soon as we know two sides, any two sides in the right triangle, we can use the Pythagorean theorem, a square plus b square equals c square. Okay, but we have only one side, so let's use one angle here. And if I say b over a, this side over this side, that is opposite over adjacent, that means tangent. So tangent of 79 is b over a, and a is known, b is known. From that we can determine the value of b. So tangent b, which is 79, tangent 79 equals b over a. B is b, a is 8. Okay, now we can determine unknown b. Tangent 79, do not write down decimal value yet. Okay, generally just do at the end. So tangent 79 over 1, now we can cross multiply. Then when we cross multiply, b times 1b, because I want to determine b, so I'm writing b first. B equals 8 times tangent 79. This is a decimal number, so now use your calculator. Make sure the mode in your calculator is in degrees. So 8 times tangent 79. Okay, and using your calculator, let me do here. So it comes out to be 41.16. So B is about 41.16. 100th means 2 decimal places. Okay, so this is 41 times 16. Okay, now next we need to determine C. Now we can use the Pythagorean theorem, a square plus b square equals c square. Or we can make use of C using A. So A over C or C over A, we know the ratio of adjacent to hypotenuse is cosine. We can use cosine as well. We can use this, or here we can just use, instead of tangent, we can use cosine 79 is adjacent over hypotenuse. So B over C, sorry, A over C, 8 over C. Okay, like last time. Now we are using B. Then we can cross multiply, thinking cosine 79 over 1, and that makes C times cosine 79. Cosine 79 is a decimal number, equals 8. So C equals, now we divide by this decimal number, so C equals 8 over cosine 79. Use your calculator, make sure the mode is in degrees. Okay, so 8 over cosine 79, and 100th means 2 decimal places. that gives 41.93. So C is 41.93. Okay, and you want to make sure what happens is if you have a bigger angle, then opposite side is longer, because bigger angle means it's a big opening. So here is 90, so the side C should be the longest. Yeah, 41.93. And this is 79, pretty close to 90, and B is 41.16, makes sense. And A is the smallest angle, which is 11 in this case, so the opposite side is the smallest, which is 8. Okay, and now let's move to the next question. Here is number 2. We got a figure here. It goes, find the distance from A to C. So A to C. So basically we have a right triangle. So let me write here A, C, and here is B. So this length is 190 feet. This angle is 15 degrees. And we are asked to determine the distance AC. This is what. So now this is a right triangle, because this is vertical. Looking at this, this is adjacent, this is opposite. So we are asked to find opposite. Now we need to write down the relationship ratio, like sine, cosine, or tangent, based on unknown and known. So opposite over adjacent is tangent, so we can use tangent. Tangent of 15 is opposite over adjacent. Opposite is AC. We can write side AC, or lowercase b is also fine. All over adjacent is 190. Like in the previous, now we can cross multiply, because tangent 15 is a decimal number. All over 1, cross multiply. Then we are trying to determine AC. So AC times 1 is AC, side AC equals 190 times tangent 15. So 190 times tangent 15, which is a decimal number. Now use your calculator. So 190 times tangent 15. And we have to find 2 decimal places, same as previous. And using your calculator, this comes out to be 778. So the distance is 778 feet. Okay, 778 feet. Final. Let's move to number 3. Find the height of the tower using the information given in the illustration. So we have we got a right triangle basically here, 90 degrees. This length is given 80 feet, and this angle is 84.129 degrees. Okay, let's put A, B, C, and height means this length is what? So this is the base angle, 84.129, our angle for reference. So this is opposite side, lowercase a, and this is given adjacent. So maybe we can change the name. Adjacent is A, doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm not going to use letter A. So adjacent is 80. This is opposite, is to be determined. This angle is tangent. So opposite over adjacent, that's tangent. So you need to make sure which trig function you need to use depending on the given and unknown. Given adjacent, unknown opposite. Okay, so this is tangent. So tangent of the base angle 84.129 is opposite over adjacent. This height BC over this length 80. Now we can cross multiply. This is a decimal number, so cross multiply to get BC equals, because BC times 1 is BC equals 80 times tangent of 84.129. Okay, Okay, now use the calculator, making sure the mode is in degrees. 80 times tangent 84.129 and 2 decimal places, it comes out to be 50.91. Okay, now the last question for this video, number 4. Solve the triangle shown to the right. So we have a triangle given here. Angle B is 49, angle C is 64, so we need to determine A. Should be easy because the sum of these three angles is 180. So this angle A, let me figure that out. A is 180 minus sum of other two, 64 plus 49. So add these two angles and subtract from 180. Okay, that is 67. So A is 67 degrees. Now one side is given. Next we need to determine two sides, and this is not a right triangle, so we cannot use like sine opposite over hypotenuse, etc. So we need to use, because we know the two angles, so we can use the sine law. Sine law means sine angle A over side A is sine angle B over side B equals sine angle C over side C. Okay, sine laws. We just take two fractions at one time. So all three angles known. This A, little A equals 14, by the way. A is known, so we want to make use of this side. So we need to use sine A over A and any, let me use sine B over B. That way I can determine lowercase b because angle B is given. All angles are known. So I'm going to use the first two. I can use the first and last as well. Okay, but using second and third not going to work because we don't know both sides, B and C. Only A is known, so let's use this. Sine A over A equals sine B over B, and we just found A, that's 67, so this is 67 over A is 14. Okay, this is 14 equals sine B. B is 49. This B is unknown to be determined. Now cross multiply because we got a fraction equals another fraction. So B times, these are decimal numbers. Sine 67, sine 49 are decimal numbers. So B sine 67 equals 14 times sine 49. Okay, do not get to the decimal number because the rounding will be off. If you use decimals now, then it's not, you don't get correct answer. Okay, now we can determine B. To isolate B, we divide both sides by this decimal number. Sine 67 is a decimal number, so B equals 14 times sine 49 all over sine 67. Now use your calculator at once. Just enter everything in your graphing or scientific calculator. 14 times sine 49 divided by sine 67, and it comes out to be, make sure the mode is in degrees because we are working on degrees. So the B comes out to be 11.48. Okay, two decimal places. So B is 11.48. Now using first and third, we can determine the value of C. It will be the same work. So let me just go over this. Sine A over A equals sine C over C. So I'm going to use first and third to determine lower C. That's the only thing left to be known. Okay, so sine A over A equals sine C, which is 64, sine C over lowercase c. Now it will be the same thing, cross multiply. So this will be C times sine 67 equals 14 times sine 64. So this angle is 64. Okay, this is 64. So C equals, then we divide by sine 67. 14 times sine 64 divided by sine 67. Use your calculator and it comes out to be, let me see, 13.67. So 13.67. So you want to make sense of these answers. As we know, bigger angle means longer sides, longer opposite sides. So out of these three, as we see, A is 67, that's the biggest angle. That means A should be the opposite side, A should be the longest one. A is 14, and that's the case. Because B is 11, C is 13, so A is 14. So this is how you want to make sense of your answer, and this is correct.